Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Astros Baseball. We are back and we are excited. And by we, I mean me and Wally. Good morning, Wally. Thanks for waking up and doing the show. It's great to be back, pal.
Yeah, it is great to be back. And the season didn't quite end the way we wanted it to. But I think if you'd told us at 7-19 that we would make the playoffs, you'd probably be a little surprised because to put everything in perspective, there had never been a team to make the playoffs who had started at 7-19. So the the fact that they even got there is a nice is a nice season.
Yeah. And I think the issue with the Astros, and I said it in the trade deadline, it's all great that they got Kikuchi and he did awesome, but they should have got some bats or at least one bat because their lineup just isn't there. You're relying on people that other teams cut. And you played good in the regular season and you got by on that, but you play a short series and one of the pitchers is the one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in baseball. And it is what it is. Our offense did not show up. I wouldn't totally blame our pitchers, except maybe some a couple of guys there in the back end, but we'll get to that later. But like we said, the Astros fall to the Tigers 2-0, and I posted this on TikTok. This will be the first year since 2016 that there will be an ALCS with no Astros in it.
Yeah, and
2016.
yeah, it's a long time, and I put something up on X that there's been really three dynasties over the last probably call it 70 years or so. You've got the Yankees that went from say 50 or 49 to 58, and really, if you can expand that out to 64, to where they won 14 of 16, something like that. AL championships is just an incredible run.
Yeah.
You've got the Astros are another one of them. Other people talk about the Yankees, who are in the late '60s or late '90s, early 2000s.
Hmm.
It's uh, however you want to classify what the run the Astros have been on over the last call it 10 years matches up to
Yeah.
anything that happened in MLB. And I saw something the other day when somebody tried to diss the Astros for the trash can. Well, when you look at the road record, it was 53 and something like 53 and 24, 57, and just some obnoxious number on the road. So that was a great team.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. The can didn't matter at all.
It sure didn't. All right, let's talk about these games, buddy. It was Framber against Scooball. When I kind of did my, I don't know if it's, yeah, like a preview. I said game one's going to be tough, but we got Hunter Brown, and then we have Kikuchi. I don't think there's any way that Detroit can beat us. And I knew they were going to do a bullpen game, and I didn't think that was going to work out for them, but apparently it's been working for them for quite a while this year. And one thing about the bullpen game is if they do their job, that's good because the hitters don't get to see, you get to see, even if you don't do anything the first time up, you're getting to see the guy's pitches. But every time they go up, it's a different pitcher. So bullpen games work sometimes.
Yeah, they work, and you're exactly right. When they blow up, they generally blow up spectacularly. And the problem with a bullpen game, if it doesn't work, it can set your entire staff back for several days. You go through your entire bullpen, and the reason you're going through a bullpen game is you don't have the starters to start off with.
Yeah.
Um, we were at game one, and Scooble was nails, and it was kind of a microcosm of one of the problems the Astros have had all season. Scooble comes in and just is just filling up the strike zone. The Astros see, call it 15 pitches the first two innings. The next two innings, I think it was about 46 pitches they saw, but then the next two they were back to 15. So this did not work Scooble. Now Scooble has a lot to do with it because he's throwing
Yeah.
strikes. There's nothing you can do about it. You'll rather than getting six pitches an inning, you'll get 9 pitches inning because you'll strike you out on 3 pitches 3 times in a row. But he was really good.
Yeah.
Really, really, really good.
Yeah, so the Tigers scored all 3 of their runs in the 2nd inning. There was a out, a single, a walk, and then a ground out, so if some people don't remember this, there was 2 outs with 2 on,
Yep.
and if Framber coulda got out of this, I mean, we literally coulda won this game 1-0, but there was 2 on and 2 outs, and there was an RBI single, RBI single, RBI single, and it's 3-0. And the Astros couldn't get anything done. They scored in the bottom of the 9th, and we lose 3-1, all because of just 1 inning that Framber got in trouble, and also the offense didn't show up.
Well, and the offense was going against good pitching, but Framber has got to be kicking himself because that was against the bottom of the lineup. One of those guys, it was Jake Rogers, Trey Sweeney, then it turned around to the top of the lineup and they got a single. It's just bam, 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 and the next thing you knew, you're down 3-0, and you could feel it in the stadium that everybody was like, "Oh no, we're going against Scooble. We're down 3-0.
Yeah.
We got our work cut out for us."
Being down 3-0 to Skubal is like being down 10-0 to the normal pitcher. So the Astros had 7 hits. They scored 1 run, 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and they left 8 on base. So they left 8 on base, but 1 inning, I think they left the bases loaded. But in the bottom of the 3rd, they had 2 singles. In the bottom of the 4th, they got 2 runners on. In the bottom of the 6th, they got a runner on. But like you said, Skubal was fire. 1st, 2nd, 5th, 7th, and 8th. They didn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it was not just the fact he was getting people out. Pitch count was really, really low for a good part of the game. Right about the time you thought you were going to get his pitch count run up, he comes up with 2 innings where he does, 15, 18 pitches in a 2 inning period. I forgot exactly how much it was.
Yeah, and then the bottom of the 9th could have been a big inning for the Astros. Jordan had a double, Bregman got a single, and then Yiner drove a run in. And then I was wondering what you thought about this. Pena came up and did a sack bunt and moved the runners to 2nd and 3rd. Do you think that was the right call, or should he have just tried to drive these guys in? It's a tight game.
Yeah. I don't know. It almost felt like they were playing defensive.
Yeah.
Um, you know, one thing with Pena is that he's fast enough. If he gets a good bunt down, he may be able to beat it out himself.
Yeah.
He's done that before. It was a close play at first base. Bottom line was in the bottom of the 9th, you had bases loaded. Hayward hits not a rocket, but a hard enough line drive,
Yeah.
but right at Spencer Torkelson, and he didn't even have he didn't have to move. It just put his glove up and caught it, and then the game's over. And really, the game would have been one where had the Astros won, you would have thought they stole one.
Yeah.
Because they were not in that game the entire game.
Yeah, after Pena sack bunt, Caratini lined out. So that's kind of what I was, hindsight questioning it because now there's 2 outs. Chaz works a walk, and then, we got Hayward, like you said, coming in with the bases loaded. Framber, 4 1/3 innings, 7 hits and 3 runs. All 3 of those runs were in 1 inning. He walked 2 and only struck out 3. Jordan went 2 for 4. Bregman 2 for 4. Altuve, Diaz, and Caratini got a hit. The bullpen, no runs. I mean, Framber gave up the 3, but the bullpen gave up 0 runs. And an asterisk, Presley did not pitch in game 1.
Yeah. Cycling back a little bit, you talked about Chaz McCormick working a walk. Let's put this in perspective. Chaz had not seen the batter's box for 3.5 weeks.
Dang.
When he got up and was at bat, it was a key situation. And Chaz, and when you say he worked a walk, he worked a walk. He really was on it. Made the pitcher throw his pitches. Got on it at a time when they really needed it.
Yeah. So we go into game 2, and I figured this is a game we could win. We got Hunter Brown against a bullpen, and there's no scoring till the 6th. Hunter Brown gave up a home run. We're down 1-0, but the Astros come back. Singleton, fielder's choice. Caratini scores. And Altuve sac fly brings in JP3. After 7 innings, the Astros are up 2-1. And then in the top of the 8th, there was a wild pitch that made it 2-2. And then Ibanez had a bases clearing double in all the 8th inning. That was all on Presley.
Yeah, and one thing that was brought up, Roger Clemens put something up on Twitter, and I thought he's exactly right. Shocker, should be in the Hall of Fame. But when the wild pitch that came through, Diaz has adopted the style of the one knee style of catching, like so many catchers do now. And when that ball came down, it was a ball that he tried to pick, and it took kind of a crazy hop. But if he'd gone old school, gone kind of the butterfly style, put the glove between your legs and lean your pad forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fastball. It probably just drops down right in front of him, and we still got a game. That wild pitch just kind of seemed like it unsettled everything.
Okay.
Presley was brought out going 2/3 of an inning, and then Hader comes in, and I believe Ibanez fouled a few balls off, then got a high fastball and just raked on it.
Oh, yeah. So Hunter Brown went 5 2/3, 2 hits and 1 run. I don't know if they took him out at the right time. 2 walks and 9 strikeouts. Hunter Brown pitched exactly like I thought he would. He pitched more than well enough to give the Astros a win, but the offense didn't show up. I mean, I think Framber pitched well enough to give us a win.
Yeah, Framber was a victim a little bit of playoff baseball because you see a lot more early moves made. Each individual game is so important that managers are not going to let a pitcher go long, figuring they don't want to ruin him for the rest of they don't ruin the bullpen for the rest of the season or next couple of weeks. Playoffs are win today and win today only. And that's why I think he made that move.
Yep, I agree. So, yeah, Hunter Brown did great. Then Presley, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits and a walk. And then Hader, 3 hits and 2 walks. So the Astros are up 2-1 before the combination of Presley and Hader came in, and they got a lot of Presley Hader online. Dubon went 2 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Why didn't he start? Hayward went 0 for 1. And then they put Dubon in. Why didn't he start? I don't know. He should have. I don't think he got a hit in game 1, but he's Dubon. He's got experience. Bregman got a hit. Yiner got a hit, and JP3 got a hit. Game 2, Altuve, Tucker, and Yordan, arguably except for Yiner, 3 of the best players on the team. 0 for 9 with 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Not good.
The key part of that game where you talked about Tucker, they had a threat going, but first and third, 1 out. Tucker came up, and you got the feeling this, Tucker. It was 2-1 at that time.
Yep.
Get a hit, you get a couple of runs, at least get a 2-run lead. Tucker grounds out 4-6-3, and then for the double play, and it really took the air out of the Astros. It was like, now you've given a young team that's on a roll like the Tigers, they always feel like they've got a chance to win because they did a 2004-esque Astros run where they've won 30 out of 40. Give them a crack and they think they're going to win. I mean, look at against Cleveland. I mean, who else has hit a home run off Clase and he throws one bad pitch and Kerry Carpenter knocks it in the next week. Muted.
All right,
You're muted.
I saw it.
Okay.
I mute mine when I cough and make noise, so I forgot to go back, folks. So I was going to do the underdog, but let's do the Ram shirts, players of the series. We'll do that first. Like I said, this is what I said, folks, when I was muted. As always, we do the player of the series, and even in this 2-0 horrible season-ending series, we're still going to do it. So pitcher of the series, easily 1,000%. I got Hunter Brown.
Yeah, there's no discussion. Go on to the next dude. Go on to the next dude.
The position player, I think it could be multiple people, but I don't think he drove in any runs, but Alex Bregman got 3 hits, so that's who I picked.
Yeah, and Jordan had 2 hits out of 7, and they're both very close. Jordan had a little higher OPS. Bregman had had 3 hits. And I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Jordan simply because he had a double. Bregman had 3 singles. I could easily put Alvarez the Coach Rose because you deserve something for playing on one leg.
Yeah, that's true. Well, here's my Coach Rose. My Coach Rose is the Astros bullpen minus Presley and Hader. Because there's no one else that I could give it to. I mean, just
Yeah. I've got kind of a unique Coach Rose.
all right.
I've got Caleb Ferguson because
Oh,
if you can throw one pitch, not get anybody out on your own, and get off the field because they threw a guy out at second base, you win the Coach Rose.
wow. Who expected that, buddy? Who expected that? All right. So normally we take a break, but this is a live read one, buddy. So I got to get to this. That's why I'm wearing my glasses, folks. All right. So take a swing at Pick'ems this baseball season on Underdog. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got into the game last year by making picks on Underdog. And for me, it's the added entertainment I've been looking for. It makes watching the games a lot funner. Underdog is super easy to play, and it's even easier to get started. Go to their easy to use mobile app or underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code HAP, which is on the screen, and Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick of entry. Plus, first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code HAP to claim your new customer special of a mystery player pick. And your deposit offer must be 18 and over, 19 and over in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 and over in Colorado for some games, and 21 and over Massachusetts and Arizona. And you must be present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.npcgambling.org. In Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text next step to 53342. In New York, you can call 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That is 467-369. Underdog. You do any gambling? It's not really
No,
gambling.
no,
It's fantasy sports.
no. I had a situation when I was a sophomore in college where I realized I wasn't very good in betting in football. Lost a good bit of what I made that summer, and that scratched my itch.
Yeah.
Hey, something before we get back into it, and since we're not talking actual baseball right here, we want to give a shout out and prayers to everybody who's in the western coast of Florida. Milton is a monster, and we just give everybody just graces to hope they come through that as well as they can. I've been through a couple, one where we didn't have power for 3 months, so I have some idea of what they're about to go through, and it's nasty. I've never seen anything like this, and just hope everybody comes through as well as they possibly can. Our thoughts are with you.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Our prayers are with you, anyone dealing with this. So we're going to go to the next segment, and I entitled it Questions for Wally. And that means I have questions for you, Wally. That's what
Okay.
this means. All right. So I have 6 of them.
Uh-oh.
Number 1, and I'm going to answer them too. So they're actually questions for both of us. But were you surprised? Number 1, were you surprised that JV was left off the playoff roster?
No, and I don't think he was either. The way that his answers were, I think he realized that he wasn't ready. Give him 2 or 3 weeks, he might have been ready.
Yeah.
The last start he had against Cleveland was good, but if you had to look at the ranking of who the top pitchers were, JP was 5 or 6. You don't have enough spots out there, and JP's never worked out of the bullpen So that's just how it goes.
I agree. I don't think JV should have been on the roster. I'm not surprised. I guess there's a small smidgen part of me that was a little surprised, but like you said, he didn't seem surprised. I mean, at least he was man enough to know, like, I really didn't deserve to be on there. I wasn't ready. All right. So, number 2, we agreed on that. The Astros have 6 free agents. Will the Astros re sign? And the answer is yes or no. There's 6 of them. Number 1, Alex Bregman.
Yeah, I'm gonna think they're gonna do it. They're okay. Maybe they don't try and sign it, but having Chapman's salary out there gives them a kind of a model of what it's going to look like. Put a increased factor on top of that, and then maybe structure it like Altuve's deal is, because he'd be 37. Maybe want to step down the salary a little bit and give him more up front.
I say no. I say they'll give him an offer, but I don't know. Sometimes these guys get a point in their career, they got to choose between money and winning. And maybe there's a team like, the Dodgers, different teams like that want to win and they spend a lot of money. So I just don't think, I think the thing is the years. I've said this before, unless they trust the Astros, like after my contract's over, give me another one. I want an Altuve for life kind of thing. And he also had Altuve on his side, so that makes me say maybe. I think they are going to take a run at him, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Number 2, Justin Verlander. I say no.
No. And let me go back to Bregman a little bit, just because Bregman's in the catbird seat. When you look at who's available at third base, it's Bregman and such a drop off that you can't even consider it. If the Astros don't sign Bregman, it puts them in a position of having to make a trade. You'd like to say someone like Arenado, but Arenado signed to 27. Do you want to buy that contract for 27? Back to your thing on Verlander, I would say no.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if he would want to come back for a reasonable number, they'd like to have him. The Astros paid him 17 this year. I think his total salary was like 35. So that, I think if they could get him for 10, they might do it.
Really?
But maybe,
I don't think so. I don't think there's any.
The game tells you when it's time to go, and the game may be telling him it's time to go.
He said he's not done.
Yeah, a lot of them say that.
Yep.
A lot of them say that. The game tells you, it's just, are you going to listen? He in years past, if he wanted to juice it up, he could juice it up to 96, 97. This season, he could juice it up to 93, 94.
Yeah. All right. Kikuchi.
Depends on the years.
Yeah.
Kikuchi's 34.
He said he wants to come back.
Yeah.
I don't think Kikuchi would be a long contract.
No, I think if you go 2+ an option.
Yeah.
3+ an option. 3, you're getting long. 3, you're getting at that. He seems to be in fabulous shape, so maybe he can go a little longer.
Yeah.
The Astros have such a good track record of being able to develop and manage pitchers. I'd say yes, but let me see, like all these guys, let me see what the numbers are.
The Astros have a lot of pitchers, so
they sure do.
I mean, they have a lot of pitchers, so maybe they need to spend the money on some bats, especially if they don't sign Bregman. But I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance they can sign Kikuchi because he was good for them and he wants to be here.
We thought we had a lot of pitchers coming into this year too, didn't we?
Yep.
Pitchers go away pretty quick.
Yeah. All right, Hayward. I say no.
That's another one. Depends on the number. Probably, I would say no. I think Hayward. I get the feeling Hayward's ready to call it a day.
Yeah. Kendall Graveman, I say no, and they better not, because every time they trade for him, he just gets hurt and he never plays.
Yeah, I don't think they re-sign Graveman either. Graveman's got a shoulder, and they've kind of figured out how to fix elbows.
Yeah.
And fixing shoulders is still kind of a black art. Graveman, if they want to re-sign Graveman's going to have to show him that he's in a position to pitch.
Yeah. If he would have been healthy this year, that'll really made a difference.
Yeah.
What about Hector Neris?
Boy,
Depends on the numbers, but they need him.
that's one I really don't know about. I mean, he was
Yeah.
okay when he was here.
Yeah.
I would say yes for a reduced salary. I mean, I think he got signed by the Cubs for 9.
Yeah.
I think if he comes here in the 4 range and understanding he's going to be a 6th inning type of guy, there's a place for him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they'll sign any of these guys, but I would say to me, the only people that they need to, if they're going to sign these guys, get Alex Bregman and get Kikuchi. These are the guys out of all 6 of these. I think that'll help the team the most. But Alex Bregman, number 1.
Yeah, no, and when we talk about these guys that we're saying maybe sign them, maybe don't, no, not. You know, a guy like Hector Neris and Verlander and a couple of the others, it was like, okay, here's our number. Here's where we feel comfortable with in our salary structure. We know, you are out there.
Yeah.
And we can go get you someplace else and stick to your number.
Yeah. All right. Now, this is just with your heart. Who do you want them to sign?
Want them to sign Bregman.
Yeah.
I want them to sign Bregman because Bregman's a manager in training. And when you see the guys who have been leaders on the Astros in the last number of years, Correa was that vocal leader, but I don't think he was the leader that was such a baseball rat like Bregman is.
Yeah.
Bregman lives, breathes, and dies this stuff. He was the guy who would be able to get on the pitcher's mound and tell the pitchers something about the opposing batters and know how to work the batter. And from a baseball standpoint, as we said earlier, encourage people who are listening to go take a look at who's out there as a third baseman. There's nobody. Bregman could not have picked a better year to have a decent 3 or 4 months. Now, one thing about Bregman, his OPS has dropped.
Yep.
And that is that is kind of a leading indicator of declining performance. We saw this year that it took him longer to get hot. What happens next year if he hits 218 the entire season? Then you're sitting on a white elephant.
Yeah, especially if you go too long. I would like them to sign him, but I mean, I don't know. So for me, I did all 6 of those guys. I put Bregman and Kikuchi, yes. JV, Hayward, Graveman, no, and Neris, maybe. That's
fair.
That's kind of. I really fell in love with Kikuchi. I really like the guy.
Winning every start will do that.
That doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt at all. All right, number 4. Should the Astros have made James Click a better offer? Or are you happy with Dana Brown or Dana White?
Dana White's the UFC.
Hunter Brown, Dana Brown. It's Dana Brown, right?
Dana Brown. Yeah, I'm happy with Dana Brown. I think when you look back on Click, he quietly made some really good deals.
He did.
Crane, what you hear is Crane, and what you and I know in a buck will get us riding the bus, but and as far as what went on in the background between Crane and Click, but what you hear is that the styles just didn't match.
Yeah.
And Crane wanted him to swing for the fences, and Click didn't want to, and he preferred more the incremental approach and
swing for the fences, but they won the World Series.
Yeah. Of course, you don't see that James Click has gotten another GM job anyplace else either.
That's true.
So I don't know. That could mean anything. That could mean nothing. I think Dana's done a pretty good job. I think Dana suffers with a perception that he's not really the guy, whether he is or isn't.
Yeah. I'm not really happy with him, but I think everybody knows who they would want if they could have him back.
Well, back on Dana, people are dissing Dana, and they said they gave away too many prospects for Kikuchi. That's the only really big deal we can talk about, right?
I think he did good, but we needed some hit. We needed some hit. We need some. I was going to say hitting. We needed bats, and it showed in the playoffs. We
but
need your bats.
I'm not sure they had, they had the prospects to give for bats.
Yeah.
When
Had
you look at
prospects to get a hitter, a pitcher.
yeah,
Who
Loperfido
were
hit
they going to get though?
Yeah, that's true. Loperfido hit 218. Bloss is in the minors and admitted that he probably shouldn't have been up anyway.
Yeah.
And then
They forced that dude up there.
Will Wagner hit well, but is he going to be anything more than a nice contact hitter?
Yeah.
But good for Will Wagner for getting up on the bigs.
All right, number 5. Do you want Joe Espada back as manager?
Yeah, absolutely.
I do too.
I thought I posted it several times. Bad managers take 7-19 and turn it into 30-58.
All right, number 6. What are the Astros' needs in the offseason? For me, Breggy, first baseman. The Astros had a 651 OPS, 26th in Major League Baseball at first. I think a lot of that is how horribly our first baseman started out. And I think we need to work on the bullpen a little.
You're always going to have to work on the bullpen and pitchers. Jerry Hunsaker, the Astros general manager back in the early 2000s, said something on the radio one time that stuck with me. It says, nothing is more volatile than pitching, especially relief pitching year to year.
Yeah.
You can have a great look at our back end wasn't near what we thought it could be.
No. We thought it was over. Get to the 7th and it's over.
They could be great next year. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if they moved Presley. They tried to move Presley.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think they just need general lineup length. You've got guys like DeBond who really should be 110 game a year player. I think he played 100. He was 137. You look at the guy, Jake, they gave Jake a full season. Jake didn't hit as much as we'd like. He makes so many great plays in the field, but Jake didn't hit. Pena, I think, is kind of plateaued to where we see what Pena is. You've got to expect some decline, slow decline from Altuve. He'd be 35 next year.
Yeah.
That they could find a good solid first baseman that could go 20 to 25 and 75 with an OPS of about of the high 7s, low 8s. That'd be great.
All right, now we're on.
It might be Diaz.
Oh. All right, let's talk about Astros and arbitration. So I think what I had read is that if the Astros reach this number of arbitration that people are projecting, that their payroll will be about 20 or 30 million. I think it's $30 million away from the threshold. So if Alex Bregman's your $30 million man, then that's all they're going to get. And so let's take a look at it. So Framber's going to get in arbitration, and they project him to get 17.8 million. I think this year he made 15 or maybe a little bit more. And Tucker's a $15.8 million man in arbitration too. And those are pretty big contracts. Dubon's 4.6, JP 4.4. You got Urquidy 3.7, Abreu 3.7, and then you got Chaz 3.3 million, Jake 2.2 million. Do they offer these guys contracts? Do they let them walk? Do they trade them? You got Garcia 1.8 million. I think if he's healthy, that's the best bargain out of all of them. And then Murphy, some guy we signed that never got to play, 800,000. So what do you think about these guys? Is there anybody here that you would like maybe not offer a contract, or somebody that you would offer them one and then try to move them? Like, what would you do with these guys? And you're muted, just like me, pal. You're muted, Wally. I can't hear you. You're not muted, but I can't hear you. Nope. Oh, wow. We are having technical difficulties, folks.
Can you hear me now?
There he is. And you're gone again.
up on the mic.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
I think it sure feels like it's one or the other for Chaz or Jake.
Yeah.
The one of the two of them can play it. The Ryan had done some work to show that Jake would, the longer Jake played, the better he got, and that worked for a while, and he got as high as 270,
Yeah.
and then he had about 180 the rest of the season, and he had some big hits, and he can sure go get them. You just wonder, there's only so many spots. Do they offer Urquidy a contract, or do they try to bring him back on a lower number since he's got Tommy John? I think they signed Murphy because he's league minimum.
Yeah.
But those are the ones that I kind of worry. I wonder if they're going to keep. You've got Framber, you got Tucker, you got Dubon. Most likely they will do Dubon. Tucker, Pena, they'll do for sure. Abreu, they'll do for sure. Abreu for what his number is a bargain. And then you hope Louis Garcia comes back.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you. Like maybe they only keep one or the other of Chaz. I mean, it's only $2 million, but you can go out and get something else. You can use that money to sign a bullpen guy. I think Urquidy at $3.71 million. With the with the way Arrighetti came through this year, you'll have Framber, and then if Javier's back, I mean, I think we're pretty stacked, and I think the Astros are going to have to make trades. Dana Brown said that their goal next year is to make it deep in the playoffs. So they're going to do something. They got to do something, and they got to make this team better. And if they don't, then I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, the lineup's definitely got to get longer. I mean,
Yeah.
they had a long lineup tail this year, and I think once everybody's disappointment fades, you can step back and look at the Astros and realize they did it with mirrors.
Yeah. I mean, we said it all year.
Yeah.
The years we won the championship, it's 1 through 8 and Maldi.
What the Astros hit on, I don't know if we were going to talk about it later. Espada talked about that they lost their approach. I completely agree.
Swinging too much.
Well, as part of as part of this podcast, what I'll do is copy the stats into an Excel spreadsheet, and so you can get a pretty good feel for what some of the trends. And the Astros have walked in 2024 20% less than they did in 2023. Now there's one less game. That's not enough to really make a big difference, but they struck out about the same amount of times. Okay. And they didn't didn't score as many runs. Basically what they're doing is they're swinging early at the count, swinging at pitches they shouldn't have swung at, and getting themselves out.
Yeah. Not a good year. We were iffy all year, and they made a great run, and then it is what it is. They just
let me ask you something.
Let me
ask you something. Do you think they make a change in the hitting coaching staff?
You would think. I mean, you got to blame somebody.
I would think they give them, the approach is on the coaches and the players, but the coaches have to insist on it.
Yeah.
And I would say maybe give them one more year. And if it's the same swinging at bad pitches, Altuve maybe is a exception to this, but as he ages, he's going to have to be more selective because those balls that he hit over his head will go to the warning track and not out of the ballpark.
Yeah. Are you outside, Wally?
Yeah.
Okay. If any of you guys are wondering what that background noise, he is not at the zoo.
I'm bringing in the old Shea Stadium.
Nice. I was like, is that a bird or a squeaky chair? I think I kind of figured you were outside.
Yeah.
I heard a dog collar or a wind chime.
Yeah. Well, that's not now.
Oh. All right. Anyway, we're back, but we're also done. And we want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. Once again, our prayers are with the people in North Carolina dealing with that stuff, everyone in the way of this new hurricane coming, which is even worse. So, Florida, we are with you, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Man, if those of all who have wondered what it's like to go through a hurricane and curious about it, it is no fun. Unlike like a tornado or whatever that's here and gone, man, a hurricane, you see it coming and you deal with it for days and weeks.
Yeah. And so we don't have final thoughts here, but I'll give you a final thought to everyone listening. And I think most Astro fans do feel this way, except the super extreme ones. But the Astros went to the ALCS 7 years in a row. They went to 4 World Series. They won 2 World Series. 2 years before they went to the first World Series, they made the playoffs. They should have beat Kansas City. I mean, you are a fan of a super successful team, and they weren't going to go to the ALCS for 70 years in a row. They're just not going to do it. And I think I, if anybody says anything to you, look at your team, whatever, I don't think any of us are bothered by any trash talking because it's like, what has your team done? Your team hasn't done what we've done or what our team's done. And then they'll say the window's closing. And I say, you've been saying that for like 5 years. The window's not closing. I think the owners, I know Jim Crane said, I'm never going to rebuild as long as I'm here. I think they're going to come back. They don't know what it feels like. They haven't done this in 8 years. They don't know what it feels like to get knocked out so early. So they're not going to rest on their laurels, if that's a phrase I can use. And they're going to go out and I think they're going to make this team better. That's what I think. So be ready for an even better Astros team next year.
Yeah, and I'm going to go a little bit along those same lines. I said, if people have listened to us during the season, Rob asked me any number of times, are they out of it yet? And it was always, no, we're not out of it. Well, we better start getting after it.
Mm-hmm.
I think people ought to sit back and appreciate what the Astros did. And I completely agree with you. In 7 years winning a championship and going to the ALCS in a row. Back in the day before 69, you won the league, you were in the World Series. Up until 95, you won your division. You had one playoff, you're in the World Series. The Astros during this period had to win 2 series and then go to the World Series. And how I think we found out firsthand in the Tiger series how hard that really is and how mercurial it can be when you come up against a hot team.
Yeah.
And don't kid yourself. The Tigers are really, really hot right now. And the Astros ran into the perfect storm of a hot pitcher, and then the Tigers won a weird game.
Yeah.
Appreciate what we have. Appreciate that we've got an owner that's dedicated to winning. I don't think anybody will argue with the fact that Crane's dedicated to winning. He'll do his dead level best to give Dana Brown the resources to get a winning team next year.
I also saw some things about people posting haters pay versus the entire payroll of the Tigers. But that's how we were.
Yeah.
We used to be one of the lowest payroll teams out there. We signed a couple of veterans, and that's how we won. We won raising our own talent, and we're almost tapped out of talent. I mean, who's left? How many good? There's got to be a diamond in the rough. Bryce, is it Bryce Matthews?
Matthews, Melton are two of the ones that are coming up.
Yeah.
It looks like they've got some good arms coming up.
Yeah.
Gusto was going to pitch on Sunday if
Yeah.
they didn't rain it out.
It's not over, folks.
No, they got Bloombaugh down that's coming up. People diss the Astros system for being so bad, but they forget the fact all you have to get is 2 or 3 really good players coming up per year. The rest of the guys just don't matter.
That's it, buddy. All right, guys, for Wally, thank you so much once again for tuning in. And we'll see you next time on Astros Baseball. I believe Sunday. If you're still with us, Sunday, we'll try to get all the guys together for our end of the year show. And we'll hand out end of the year Ram shirts, player of the series, and whatever these guys want to talk about. That's what we'll be here Sunday. Sound good, Wally?
That sounds great.
All right. See you later, folks. Thanks once again for tuning in. See you next time.